You're listening to Homeschool Unrefined. I'm Maren.
And I'm Angela. Let's encourage each other, laugh, and get real about homeschool. Welcome to the podcast where we keep homeschool simple, real, and fun. You've got episode 83, Summer Mode, Slow Planning, Library Fees, and Book Recs.
Oh my. So many good things in there.
I know.
Hello, everyone. Happy summer. The summer is flying by.
It is.
We're so glad you're here. And we want to thank also the Patreon supporters. You are helping us make it possible every week. We so appreciate you. We are adding content to our Patreon site all the time. So if you'd love to be a supporter of us and get more of our content, head on over to patreon.com/homeschoolunrefined and take a look at what we've got. It's also a community where we get to talk right in there too. We get to message each other and things like that. So that's really fun. We've enjoyed it.
We have. Yep.
All right. So Angela, we do this every week, this podcast. Yep. I always feel like it is kind of a hustle to get here to our computer at the same time. Yeah, you know, it's like a little bit of a spurt, like a sprint right at the end to get here. I feel like it's crazy for like a little bit right beforehand.
Yep. Yeah.
You?
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
So what were you doing? Like, what were you doing right before this? I'm just wondering because for me, I always imagine you're just like sauntering over to your computer. I think it's time for the podcast now. And here I am like hustling and bustling all over my house.
Oh, no. I'm hustling too.
Okay.
I'm hustling. Okay. Right before this, I picked up my son at theater camp.
Nice.
Yep. He's going to theater camp this week. So picked him up. And then he got home and there was kind of then a hustle of me like reminding the kids that I'm going to be podcasting and telling them what I need them to do. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yesterday, I came out of recording a podcast episode on Patreon. You probably saw this on Instagram because I put it on Instagram. And my kids are having a baking challenge. And my daughter's got this like beautiful cake she's baking.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Like, I'm always shocked at what they're doing. Yeah. And then I'll be like, did you do your list of chores?
Yeah.
And she's like, oh.
But then, like, how do you get mad at?
I know you don't. You
can't. I know
you can't. So I just like remember, you know, you guys have to do your laundry.
Yeah.
When I'm in there, so yeah. So that's what I did right before, and then earlier today, I just have to tell you this. So we were on vacation, you know, for 2 weeks at our cabin, and we got back, and two of my kids have swimmer's ear. They're like really susceptible to getting like ear infections from swimming.
So tough.
And so
is swimmer's ear an infection?
Well, I don't actually know, even though I did a lot of Googling today.
Yeah. Good job on the Googling.
Thanks. I think it can turn into an infection.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. My oldest is in a lot of pain. Oh, that's so tough. You know, I'm not like usually pro antibiotics or going to the doctor.
Yeah, I know that.
So I'm kind of like, can you just wait it out? But she's in a lot of pain. So I tried to find some like eardrops for her this morning. So I went to Walgreens already and then I put those in and then that caused more pain. She was like, she just doesn't like the sensation of anything in her ear.
Right.
Like any fluid.
Right. That's so tough.
I know. So then I tried this. Have you ever tried Virtuel?
Yeah. Is it online?
It's the online doctor.
Well, we've done a few. We have one now through, I want to say our insurance.
Okay.
It's not an insurance. It's like a health co-op.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I was like, because I don't want to drag anybody to the doctor over some swimmer's ear. You know?
Totally agree. And yet like, you want to take care of it.
I want it taken care of because she's like, you know, it's stabbing pain. And so I was like, I'm going to try this online doctor. It looked kind of cool. Yeah. So I did. Yeah. I filled in all the information and then they sent me a prescription and I just haven't gotten it yet. So
isn't that so nice though?
What?
It's so nice. I mean,
it was only $49.
This is a new age.
They said, we're going to bill your insurance, and if insurance doesn't cover it, or what if insurance does or doesn't cover it, it's $49.
Yeah, which is
either way. I was like,
amazing.
that is a good deal, and nobody has to go in.
Yeah. Can we do all doctor visits like that forever?
I know.
Forever and ever. Like, can you just send me the shots? No, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that. But I mean, I just do not like the whole hubbub of going to the doctor ever. Ugh.
Right. I know.
Yuck.
Yeah. What were you doing right before this?
Well, I mean, today was, so my daughter had soccer. It was her last day of soccer, my 7-year-old.
Yes.
And of course, I didn't read the email about what was happening at soccer today. I am the worst at email. I hate email.
Why do you get an email about what's happening at soccer today?
Because it was the last day. And so they said, just so you know, we're going to take pictures at the very end.
Okay.
Which is just the parents taking pictures of, if you want a picture of the group, bring your camera, right? And then they said, and also it's parents versus kids at soccer today. So I didn't know that until I got there, and I'm wearing my, my shoes. Remember the shoes? It was my loving this week. Is they're like, they're like loafers. They're like loafers.
It's like the one day you weren't wearing your athleisure.
Exactly. I wear 99% of the summer. I'm wearing athleisure. I'm not kidding you. And today I wasn't. So, because actually,
you're like, these aren't soccer shoes. I don't know if you know. I spent a long time picking these out.
Exactly. This is not for soccer use. But I apparently a lot of other parents had not read the email either. Because some parents were out there in flip-flops. And one was out there barefoot. So I felt okay about that.
Maybe you should have done that. She was probably like, I'm not wearing my nice shoes.
Yeah, I know.
So you had to play on a team with all the other parents.
Yeah, it was parents against kids.
Oh my gosh.
And we're like trying to kind of work hard, but kind of not work hard because we can't but we can't win. But and yet it has to, and yet the kids were old enough to be like, do not patronize me and just
you
fake
have to try hard.
Yeah, you have to try hard. And anyway, so I got out there, and the coach said, okay, so this is gonna be a 45-minute session, and I was like, 45 minutes?
No,
I just about fell over.
Is this
I was thinking,
is this Parks and Rec soccer?
Yes. I was thinking 10 minutes tops. No, it was 45 minutes. That's half the time of like a major league soccer game. Which that just blows my mind for 7-year-olds.
Did you have to be out there the whole time?
7-year-olds and 40-year-olds. What's that?
Did you have to be out there the whole time, or did you take turns?
No, we had to be out there the whole time. We got water breaks.
Wow.
And I had my earbuds in. I was sitting like with my coffee, and I was like super enjoying the time. And then Josie, my daughter, came over and was like, it's time for parent and kid time. So anyway, that's what happened to me this morning. But actually, you know what? It ended up being so much fun. I loved it.
Wow.
And when I was out there, I was thinking, I want to be on an adult soccer team, I think. If I had the appropriate clothes on.
Wow.
It'd be so fun. So,
it's impressive.
Anyway, yeah. And so that was this morning. And then we just, we have to quickly come home, eat. Everybody has to eat. And that's kind of a dilemma every day. What's everybody eating? And because it was so hot out, sometimes we come home and nobody's really that hungry. When you're so hot for so long, you're just like not hungry. You just want water and watermelon or something, So we had to figure that all out. And, before I podcast too, we all have to clean up. Everybody needs to do some cleaning, organizing. So it's like a big transition time.
Yeah.
And I never time it perfectly right. So I'm always scrambling at the end to be done with all of it. So yeah.
Yeah.
But my kids love it when I podcast because they, kind of have free range of lots of stuff. So
they can go on the electronics.
Yeah, lots of electronics and
eating sugar.
Who knows what happens? Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Should we move on to our summer mode schedule of what's going well?
I am loving this summer mode schedule.
Me too.
All right, Angela, what is going well for you this week?
Well, okay. I've been at this homeschool thing for a while now.
You have.
So my oldest is going into 8th. We've been doing it since she was in 1st. So I've been I've had that many summers before the school year starts to kind of be getting ready for homeschool. And I feel like I finally embraced my style of planning.
Wow.
Which is not much planning.
Yeah.
And I'm calling this slow planning.
I love that so much.
Yeah. So what happens though every year is I look on the internet.
Yeah.
Wherever.
Google Google things.
Facebook. No, I mean I see other people Facebook groups or Instagram or whatever. Everybody's planning.
Gotcha.
And they are intensely planning. And they're asking things like, I'm trying to decide between these two math curriculums. What should I choose?
Yeah.
Or I'm trying to decide which homeschool planner I should pick. What do you think? Right. And I start to panic.
I know.
I start to panic because I'm like, I should be doing this right now.
Right.
And I got a little panicky. I got a little twinge of panic a few weeks ago. And then I realized, oh, no. You know how to do this.
Yep.
This is not your personality. You need to slow down and just do what you do best. Yes. Which is, I kind of take the month of August, or I remember last year, it wasn't even. I didn't even take the month of August because we had moved. So it was September. To just right now, I'm just kind of thinking about what are we going to be doing? Yeah. And it's not, since we don't homeschool year round right now. Right. But I feel like our life routine is kind of one of, we're always learning and, we are going to be doing a lot of the same things in the fall that we're doing in the summer. Sure. It's just going to be a little bit different. Right. And so I'm just starting to think about what that's going to look like in a slow way. I'm not even writing anything down. I'm just thinking about
that
stuff.
Is so great.
Yeah.
I love that about you. I think that's why I love talking to you about homeschooling. Because I do not ever feel that pressure around you. Yeah. So I feel I love that.
Oh, thanks.
And now I do have to say it's okay if you are doing all that stuff too. It's fine.
Yes.
It's good.
I think you should be doing it if that's what your personality is. Right. If your personality enjoys planning, you should be doing that because that's how you're going to shine.
Right. And I appreciate talking to people who do that too. So I guess my point is I love talking to people who have found the thing that works for them.
Right.
That's what I love to hear from people.
Right.
This works for me.
I know. I feel like finally this year I'm embracing it. Yeah. And I'm not trying to be a different kind of homeschooler than I really am. And I'm not trying to plan too much. I think last year I was getting there. And we did a whole episode on this. Yep. I don't remember what it's called, but I'll put it in the show notes. It was something where we plan loosely.
Yeah, plan loosely. Yep.
Where we plan loosely. And so we talked about that then. But I think this year I was the least amount of panicky I've ever been.
Wow. That's so great. Do you remember one year we did a planning retreat? You and I. Do you remember that?
Well, we just went to my cabin.
Yep. Which I think was okay. But what I learned from that, and I think I needed that at the time too. But I also think for me now at this point, I would be willing to do all the planning. I think I would if it meant a better year for us. But for me, it doesn't go like that. I can do so much planning, and then I think it's a lot of just my personality and my kids' personality that all that planning just doesn't pay off because things change. My interests and preferences change, and my kids interests and preferences change. And so I can't put too much time into that right now because I just know it's fluid. It's more fluid in our house. So all that to say though, I think it's so good. Like I love talking to my kids, especially about what they want to do this year.
Right.
And to maybe talk about what would that look like this year? You're interested in, I don't know, World War II or something. I'm just thinking of one of my kids. You're interested in World War II. What do you want to do with that? And how can we make that a, part of our year? And I don't want to, if he gets less interested in it, I probably wouldn't just like totally throw it out, but I think it's okay to adjust to that too.
Oh yeah.
And so, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're always making adjustments, always changing things, and that's totally good and fine and normal. And so it is hard when you've done that planning
to do the adjusting.
And then a week or 2 or 3 later, you're like, "Ooh, wait.
A month. Yeah, I know.
I need to change these. I need to change something." And that's fine to do that.
Right,
it's good. But I guess I'm just trying to plan for that happening.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to be open, like as open to possible changes.
Yeah.
As much as I can.
I like to have I like some general plans. Like this month we might work on this, even, month to month plans. But maybe I think getting down to details is real hard for me too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like general plans I can change easier. It's just easier to shift those for me as needed.
Yep.
So
yeah.
Good for you. I'm so glad. I'm so glad you feel comfortable like where you are.
Totally. Yep.
That's great.
Yeah. Right. How about you? What is going well for you?
So, because of our book club this summer, it's really helped me get outside, and I'm so excited about it.
Right.
We've had a great
how to raise a wild child.
Book club. Yeah. So
I
feel like I'm raising wild children.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like Scott Sampson talks about in the book. It's never like, picture perfect. But we're getting outside. Some of the things that I think are contributing to it. The first one is something that I guess I wouldn't necessarily have asked for, but it's just we have a small house.
Oh, right.
We have a smaller house, and there's like, if we're all in the house all summer, it gets, I mean, we're in the house all winter a lot, and it gets kind of crowded. And so spring, summer is our chance to spend time outside.
Right.
And so we just all have more space. So I am counting that as a good thing.
That is such a good thing.
I am looking at it as a good thing. I have to.
Yep.
So it is great. Also our adventure co that you and I organized is so great. And it's not even a big deal. It's such a small thing. And I think I want to bring this up because I think it's so doable for so many people.
Yes.
You and I basically just decided to go outside once a week together with our kids. That's how we started it. Yep. And we did that for a whole year together, just you and I. We're going
I think
outside.
Was it more than a year?
Maybe.
Like it was 2.
Maybe 2 years,
Yeah. Okay.
And now just this summer, we were like, should we just ask some other people to do this with us? And so a few other families are coming with us every week. And I think it's brought some energy to the group, and my kids really love it. I love it.
It's more of a thing when you invite other people. Like when
it's
it was
an event,
just you and I could be like, I can't go this week. Can we do it on a different day? And then maybe it wouldn't happen. Or, so I'm just more accountable when there's other people.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Yep. It feels like more of an event, which I kind of like that right now.
Yep. Definitely.
I'm kind of ready for that event kind of feeling. Like we're going out, and I don't have we don't have expectations of what's going to come out of it.
We just have a place named, and then we go there, and then just see what happens.
Yeah.
There's no plan or expectations. Yeah.
Right. And in the summer, we're doing it in the morning, so it's, not too hot, and I don't know. It's just, we're really enjoying it. And we're finding new places around the Twin Cities. So I'm just loving that. And then we got a few things for around the house too. We got a swing for our front yard.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Which is, I mean, who knows? You just never know. Is this going to be a thing or not? You just never know.
Was this one of your loving this week's, the swing?
I don't know if it was.
I can't remember. You were loving it. You are. It should be a loving this week.
I should have been. I know. No kidding.
Because you got it.
Well,
and said how amazing it was. Then we got it.
Yeah. For Christmas, I got something for outside for each of my kids, and that was one of them.
Yeah. Yep.
Even though it was the middle of winter.
Okay. You appreciate it now.
I appreciate it now. I'm so glad I did. Yeah. So we can put a link to that maybe in our show notes.
Yeah,
but,
sure. It's a round swing.
It's a round swing. It looks like a net, kind of.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Or spider web or something. So yeah, and we just tied it up to one of our trees in our front yard, and our kids just spend time out there. I mean, it's just they read on that swing, and they just sit and look up and wonder. I can just tell there's like a lot of thinking going on that swing, and that's what nature does. I think when you're outside, I don't know, something happens,
right,
where your brain can just start wandering, and I just love that so much, and it makes me so happy to see that every day. And then we also, based on the book How to Raise a Wild Child, got a terrarium, and which is just, I mean, listen, it's the most basic little. It's like.
Okay, wait. You bought one?
Yeah, on Amazon. It's plastic. Okay. It's just plastic, though. But, you know, it has a cover with air holes.
Was it the #1 terrarium on Amazon?
Probably.
Okay, I'll find it.
That's how I find things. If it says Amazon choice, I'm probably going to get it. No, I don't know. Yeah, I can put a link to that, too. But that's helped, too. Because we've had little bug catchers in the past, but they're, you know, from the Target dollar section, and they look kind of kiddish and, you know, babyish or whatever. And like nobody's interested in them anymore.
Nobody's interested if they have primary colors on them.
Yes. Or like, you know, a pink frog or something. It's just, it's just too young looking. So we got this terrarium, and now we just find creatures all over, put them in there for a few days and watch them and study them.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice.
It's been so great.
I know you can make those on your own, and I feel like I've tried once and it was a major flop. So.
Oh, really? Like.
I don't remember. Okay. I just remember like. You have to get. Are there succulents in it?
Oh, no, there's nothing in there. I mean, it is just a plastic box. You can get stuff for the bottom, but we really just added our own things. We, you know, just added grass and.
Okay.
You know, little sticks and stuff like that.
So it's just the box.
We probably should get some things in there, though. Probably be a good idea.
Okay.
But let me tell you, you can do it without it, because it's just we get a couple days with some creatures every now and then, and it's been awesome. Yeah. And
do you put that on your deck?
Well, we have a little, you know, we have like a little buffet area in our dining room.
Oh,
that we're just putting our nature stuff on. So
and you're bringing it inside then.
They can, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yep, just to look at inside. So, you know, we have like a basket of rocks.
Yeah.
That kids look at, and then we have this terrarium now. So.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Way to go.
I'm trying to, but you know, I'm trying to tell myself this is also good too, because I let myself get frustrated when there are times when I want to go outside and the kids don't want to. And I think, oh my gosh, I am failing this. I want my kids to want to go outside. But that doesn't mean you've failed. That doesn't mean I failed if my kids don't want to go outside right now.
Right.
Like, it's okay.
I know.
I'm exposing them to lots of good experiences.
You are.
So that's like the best I can do. And I'm enjoying it. So
good.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, that was
awesome.
A lot of talking about more nature stuff, but it is what's going well for me this week.
And next week, just to plug our book series, next week we're going to be talking about the last 3 chapters of the book.
Yes.
Right?
Can't wait.
Of How to Raise a Wild Child. So come back for that.
So excited. All right. Angela, what needs tweaking for you this week?
Okay. What needs tweaking is I need to figure out how to get my library fees under control. And I know
don't get me started.
All of you homeschool parents can relate. I mean, I know that. I feel like there has got to be a better way.
Yeah.
There's got to be a better way.
Well, the better way is to live in the city right next to us where we just moved out of, because when you're a homeschool parent, you don't have late fees there.
I know. So I think that's what's
miss
troubling
it.
me is our old library, when you were a homeschool parent, you didn't have late fees. And it was amazing. And I think that's the answer.
That's the answer.
Because homeschool parents check out so much stuff.
Yeah.
And also we had unlimited holds. So I just really took
so
advantage.
you could put as many things you wanted on hold at any time. Oh yeah.
Yes.
And what's the limit now in our new
know.
community?
I don't know.
10?
10. But I think what's hard for me, so when you get behind, right? And then they block you, or then they do something where it's like
you can't check out any more books.
Can't check out anymore, and you can't renew anymore. So you have like another one that needs to be renewed, and they're like, nope, sorry, you can't. Your account is blocked. So
till
then
you pay.
Till you return them.
Oh, yeah.
And then everything, it's like you get even further and further behind.
I know.
There's like no grace.
A bad system.
I know.
Come on,
guys. He's just like, can't you just return them on time?
So easy to say, Jeremy.
Because there are because you're holding so many books too, you get them all on different days. So like I have a batch one day, 3 days later I have another batch, 3 days later I have another batch. And so keeping track of all that, it's too much for me.
It is. And they only hold them for 2 days.
5 days.
Oh, is it 5?
Yeah.
Okay. It seems like such a small amount of time to me. Seems smaller than that. Because I've missed it several times.
I know. Libraries need to be homeschool friendly.
I agree.
Here's the other issue. Sorry, I'm getting on a rant.
Maybe
about
we
the
need to write a letter.
The return slot?
Yeah.
So I go today to return like $30.
You're like, one at a time.
One at a time only. And then it goes on that track. It's like the grocery store conveyor belt. Yeah. And it'll start going on the conveyor belt slowly. And then the conveyor belt stops. And you have to wait.
I know.
You have to wait.
I know.
And then and it says one at a time, please. And so it probably takes so long. They're imagining people are returning 2 books. So
yeah,
no big
because
deal.
a lot of people do.
I'm returning 30.
Yeah. Yeah. I know.
Anyway, I don't know if anybody has any.
Because isn't it just falling into a bin over there? That's what I always wonder.
It's over there.
like through the conveyor belt into a bin.
Well, actually, it goes a long way.
Have you looked?
In the whole,
okay.
Yeah, I've seen it. It goes like up high and then over. Like they travel
like a roller coaster.
They do. They do.
How fun for the books. Wow.
I feel like there's got to be a system or like a better library app or something.
Yeah.
Because I've really tried to stay on top of it, and I still.
Well, it's so tough because we live in this world of instant. Everything should be working, like so well all the time. Like, multi-million-dollar companies, their apps work great all the time. You know what I mean? Facebook just works most of the time.
I know.
Or, you know what I mean? And so then we get to this this little app from our
nonprofit library.
From our nonprofit library for somebody who's like working part-time.
I know.
Who's kind of gets the app or
I
not.
know. And I got to be okay
with
paying library fees. I really should be.
Yeah.
But I'd rather make a donation.
Instead of it being like a negative.
Yeah,
thing.
And now I get these blocks on my account that never go away. You have 7 blocks, even though I've paid everything off and I've returned everything.
You know what?
They just stick there.
Yeah, the blocks. That's even. I get blocks when I don't pick up my books that I've put on hold.
Yeah.
So you get blocks for a lot of things. It's not like. It sounds negative, but it's not necessarily negative.
It's all about what it sounds like. Because I can still use it now, and it's fine. Like, I've cleared everything, but I still have 7 blocks.
And you don't like that.
From
that
the
says 7 blocks. Can we just get
over
over that? Can we move on?
Can this not be a consequence?
Yeah. Make me feel bad about something that I did 5 years ago.
I want to be a perfect library user.
Yeah.
And I'm not.
Yeah, that's so tough.
Anyway. Okay. What needs tweaking for you?
For me, what needs tweaking is, well, remember at the beginning of the summer, I had this system where I was going to pay my kids to play with my youngest child.
How's that going?
It's not going well. Like, people have forgotten about it.
Oh.
And there's just still a lot of angst there. I feel like, I feel like my older kids they want to be older, and
okay, so remind us what the deal was.
I think I had set up this, I won't even remember it probably, but I had set up the system where, like, if you help your youngest sister with something, you get, whatever, quarter or 50 cents. If you, if you play with her, you get, I don't know, I think it was all 50 cents. If you play with her, or if you read a book with her, read, and help her. Those were the things. Or if you thought about correcting her and you didn't, come and tell me. And I'll give you some more, because that's where, like, a lot of issues happen, because, like, my 7-year-old doesn't need any more correcting from older kids.
No.
she's living in like a made up world anyway right now. She's in this make believe world all the time, most of the day. You know what I mean? My other kids were like that too at age 7. And my older kids are out of that stage and they're living in reality most of the time. And so when they see her, or hear her saying things that, aren't actually real, but they're real to her, I love that. I love having conversations about those kind of things. But it's, like, so hard for my other kids to understand that.
Yeah.
Because they've moved beyond the make-believe kind of a little bit, but then they haven't moved to this next phase where they can understand that she is still in there. You know what I mean?
Well, and also her personality is just more imaginative.
Oh, yeah. And
than your other kids.
Right.
So I think it's a personality thing too.
Well, my oldest was like that at this age. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah. Nope. I forgot.
I remember once you came and asked me about my oldest child, like, something like, do you, I don't know. You asked me something. She's like, that she had told you, like, do you have horses or something? I don't know. Anyway, but
yeah. Okay.
I mean, I remember my other kids being like that too. So I think it is definitely a stage, and I think it's a great stage.
Yeah.
I love it. It's just, we haven't figured out how to celebrate it really.
Yeah. That's too bad.
I know. Because when my oldest was there, everybody else was there too. And so it was just Wonderland all day long.
It was magical and amazing for everybody.
Right. And I just don't want it to be looked at as, like, a negative thing.
Yeah. I think regarding paying our kids, it's hard for me to do that because I feel like, and obviously we're in a position of privilege, my kids get so much money from their grandparents for, like, birthdays.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or random occasions.
Yeah.
That they don't want my 50 cents.
Mm-mm.
That's not motivating.
That's exactly what it was. And then I was thinking, okay, so, like, coins aren't enough for you. That makes me just think we have to go about this another way, because I'm not stepping up the price.
Yeah.
You don't need more money to do this thing that you should be doing already.
Right.
Or, I know it's hard for them. I get that. So I want to have understanding, but also, we just,
maybe there can be, like, a family goal that you're working towards.
Yeah.
Like, if everybody does it together 10 times, then you get to, I don't know, do something that they want to do.
I think this summer kind of struggling with all kinds of rewards and stuff like that too. Cause I don't want the reward to be the thing that makes my kids do things. And I feel like there's, even with the, with the reading thing, they're doing great on reading. I think it's just great. I'm not going to keep doing that though. The rewards for reading, because we are handing out a lot of popsicles and ice cream and I don't know, so many things.
Yeah.
But I feel like this is not sustainable.
Well, I feel like those kind of
Nobody needs that
reward
much stuff.
systems are like, those kind of systems are good for like getting in the habit.
Yeah, yeah. Short term.
Short-term habit.
Right.
And then
right.
once you do, then you don't need the rewards anymore.
Yeah. It's so true. I do not want to live in this space where we are right now with rewards. I've never been big into it, and I did it this summer, and now I remember why I'm not big into it.
Yeah.
I think it's fine. It's fine, but
there's always so much hope and promise at the beginning of a reward system.
I feel like August, our podcast should just be about like picking up the pieces of what we hoped would happen this summer, and it's not happening, but it's okay.
Well, some of it is.
Yeah.
Some of it's happening.
That's true.
Like the nature stuff.
That's true. You're right. Lots of good things. And then also, I think we have to remember other good things are happening, even if they weren't the things we had hoped and planned for the summer.
Right.
Because things will happen as they happen. A lot of things just unfold the way they unfold.
Right.
So we have to look for those things too.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right, let's move on to our self-care check-in.
Yes. So Angela, what, you want to get started?
Well, I wanted to check in on what we talked about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember.
Oh, gosh. I know. I do remember.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you, like, how's Pilates going? Because you wanted us to hold you accountable. So I am.
Oh, my gosh. So the only thing I've done is I looked up the place that you go.
That I go?
Yep.
Okay.
Because, well, actually, I've not. Basically, I failed at this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But, no, I've taken one baby step, but I haven't gotten as far as I wanted to.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
You took a step. You did Vox me a few days ago asking some questions about it.
I did.
You're making progress.
So I'm making progress. I have made a decision to do that, to do yours, because what I did was, because I talked to this other place a long time ago, and I had like a folder of information. And the folder,
no one needs a folder.
The folder of information is a bit much for me.
No.
So I think maybe that was part of why I was like, I cannot decide this right now. So I pulled that out and just looked at pricing and all this other stuff. And then I asked you a bunch of questions about your place. And you love your place too.
Yeah,
so
I do.
I appreciate that. If you love a place, I mean, that says a lot. I try not to do everything you do. So I was like, I can just do something else. It's okay if I do something that's not what Angela's doing. But then a lot of times
I find a different Pilates studio in my neighborhood.
I could do that if I wanted to. And I did, but I don't want to. So I want to go to yours.
Okay, good. That's exciting. Well, maybe we can go together sometime.
Okay. That would be even more motivating, actually.
And cheaper if we go together.
Yeah. Great, let's talk about it.
Okay.
Well, so there we go.
That's awesome. Good for you. Yeah. So the thing that I said I was going to do 2 weeks ago was read in the morning.
Good for you.
Well,
and
read fiction and nonfiction in the morning.
That's right.
I was working on that.
And how's it going?
It's not going as well as it was when I was really gung ho about my new plan.
Well,
but I'm still doing it.
Okay.
Okay. So we went on vacation, and that kind of messes everything up.
It does.
I mean, all the routines and stuff.
Yeah.
I did read a lot on vacation, or I read some, not as much as I wanted to.
Yeah.
But I didn't do it like in the morning.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I didn't do any nonfiction. I brought like 4 nonfiction books, and I didn't read them. I just read the fiction.
Okay.
That's fine.
It's okay. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine.
That's still great. I mean, I think what happens on vacation is you think, I'm on vacation. I should be able to read all day if I want to.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting.
Yeah.
It didn't happen.
Because it's vacation, right? But so many things happen.
So many other good things happened.
Lots of good things. Yep. Good.
So, yeah.
Good for you.
And then since we've been back, I've gone to Pilates in the morning. And then I got home, and then I forgot. So I need to, starting tomorrow.
Yes.
I'm going to start again. Reading in the morning.
Good. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's my plan.
That's so great.
Because I like when I do that. What else are you doing for self-care?
Well, I also read a book, which I'm going to talk about in my LTW, which was so great. I love getting into the habit of reading. When I'm in a good book, I read every morning.
Yeah.
But now I'm done. And no, it's hard. It's really hard for me to get into another book. It just is, especially when the last book was so good. I need time.
Yeah.
So,
When the last book was so good, I want to move right away into a new one, usually, because I'm like, I need to keep this going.
yeah.
But then the next book is usually not as good as the last one. So
I know. Yeah. See, that's why I always feel like I cannot start another book because I'm already going to judge it. Like it's not going to be good enough.
Yeah.
It's never going to be good enough. So I just need a little time. But maybe that's when I should do some nonfiction.
Yeah. Or an audiobook.
Yeah, an audiobook is a good idea. But then the problem is, so when I'm listening to an audiobook, I like to be doing things.
Yeah.
But in the morning, I like to just sit and read.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I did download. I had some credits to spare in Audible, my Audible account. So I did get 3 books that are possibilities for my next book.
Tell me what you got.
So I got a book that I had not heard about this book until I opened up Audible, and they knew I wanted it, so they put it on the front. It's called You're on an Airplane by Parker Posey.
Oh,
Parker Posey is so funny. And I just love her so much, so I immediately put it in my cart.
Is it a memoir?
I think it is.
Okay, it must be.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then I also got Educated, which you have read.
Yep, that was good.
So,
that's a good one.
Yep, I'm very excited to listen to that one. And then also I got Calypso by David Sedaris.
Oh yeah, that's on my list.
Yeah. So I like to read comedians' books.
Listen to comedians' books.
And listen, yeah, especially if they've narrated it. Yeah. Yep. So that is what I'm gonna pick one of those next, probably. Maybe as like an in between my fiction books. So, anyway.
Awesome.
Yeah. How about you? Anything else you're doing?
I'm trying to go on more walks.
Yeah, good.
I think I'm doing pretty well with self-care.
That's great.
So, yeah.
I got a fitness tracker.
Okay.
Which
what's that?
Like a watch. I got a watch.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I've been kind of trying to decide, is this something I really want for my own personality? Like, do I want to be held accountable for all the things like whatever,
like what
all
steps
things,
and stuff?
Yeah, all that stuff.
Okay.
But so far, I'm loving it.
Really?
Yeah.
What do you love about it?
I love that I can check how active I've been during the day.
Okay.
And it just helps. I don't know what it is. I feel like, oh yeah, I actually have to go on another walk or something. Which I want to do. I want to go on a longer walk or more walks or do a little more exercise in some other way or do a yard project or something. But I often let those things slide because there's so many demands at home. But this makes me just think, nope, I have to do this. This is important. I mean, I have to take care of myself. So it's
awesome.
Concrete evidence.
Yeah.
So that's what I like about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that would weigh me down.
Yeah, I know. That's what I thought too. So I don't know.
Don't give me another thing to do.
Yeah. I know. The jury's still out. We'll just see. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
But
yeah, awesome.
I'd be interested to see what other people think about if they have fitness trackers and how they use it.
Yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. Should we move on to our listener question?
Yes.
Okay, and I've got it
go
right
ahead.
here. Okay, it says, listening to your podcast from last September about curriculum.
Mm-hmm.
Wondering if you liked the History of the United States book, which I think she's referring to the People's History of the United States.
Yes.
Which is the one I read.
Mm-hmm.
And how about Story of the World? How did they work out? And also, how do you manage Logic of English and Brave Writer writing projects?
Yeah. Oh my gosh. It sounds like we do a lot.
So we loved this question because not necessarily for the specifics of it,
Mm-hmm.
but because we, in a curriculum episode, we can talk about, or, homeschoolers can talk about all the things that they're doing.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful in talking about like how much you're doing it or actually when you're doing it, it can sound like you're doing a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is a good opportunity to talk about like, well, specifically how those work for us, but then also like that we're not doing everything all the time.
Yeah, I think and we have to be careful about this too, because we talk about a lot of things, a lot of ideas, maybe even some curriculum or whatever, and we do not always specify like this happens once a month.
Yeah.
Or something like that, or we pulled it out twice this year maybe sometimes. So it's so important for us to do that though, because otherwise people are thinking we are just on top of the ball and we're doing everything. We're doing all this stuff. We're being so productive all the time with all this curriculum, and that's not really the case.
Right. Yeah, and I love this question too, because she's kind of asking, okay, so you said you were going to do this stuff last September. Like, what did you actually do?
Yeah, I know.
And I think maybe we should do that every year. Like, talk about, like, because it's one thing to dream and plan and think about what you're going to do, but then what actually ends up happening can be two totally different things.
Yeah, totally. So how about the People's History of the U.S.? Okay. Or what was the name of that book?
So A Young People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn.
Yeah.
That, I love it. We read it aloud with our read alouds. We are about halfway through.
How often do you read it?
I would say sometimes it's 2 to 3 times a week.
Okay.
Sometimes it's none.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd say it probably averages for the whole year to like once a week.
Okay. And would you say that's like something you do the most? It's one of those things that you do the most as far as curriculum goes, if you even call that curriculum. I don't know. It's a book. But like, is that one of your main things?
It's the only thing we do for history.
Mm-hmm.
Well, besides I read picture books too that are historical.
Mm-hmm.
And chapter books that are historical. So, but it's the only like history text or history specific thing that we do. And I would say, it's one of the main things.
Okay.
But history is not like, it's not reading and math, it's not like that
right.
But it is really important to me.
Sure. That's so good.
Yeah. So, and what happens is this is when we have lots of conversations. So you'll read a little part of it, then you'll have a big conversation about it.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't get through a lot. And I'm not trying to get through anything. I'm just going real slow with it.
Yeah.
So we're going to keep on.
Quality versus quantity.
It's quality.
Yes. That's so good. I bought that book, by the way.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Yeah.
Have you tried it yet?
No, I haven't. It just looks, I just looked through it myself and it looks so good.
Yeah, it's really good.
But I guess what I also think I want to say about that for you, and tell me if this is true or not, but my perception is, you do read aloud. Read aloud is a huge part of your homeschooling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this is a huge part of your read aloud. So, I mean, I think it's an important part of your homeschooling is what I'm saying.
It's an important part.
But it's not.
But even though we try to read aloud every day, I don't necessarily do this.
Yeah, right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. But I do think, I think it's just so good to talk about how learning can happen in read alouds. A lot of learning happens in read aloud.
For sure.
Just reading out loud something.
For sure.
And it's so freeing to just know that you can just read something with your kids. Have a great discussion about it if you want. And then that's reading. That's learning.
Totally.
You don't have to do a big project. You don't have to do a lot of anything.
A curriculum.
You don't
have to do a curriculum.
Nope. You don't have to do a bunch of writing.
Right.
We have to learn how to write, but it doesn't have to happen.
Yeah.
Whatever. In all these things. So.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then she's asking about Story of the World, which I did not do. I have done in the past, but did you do that last year?
Yeah, but not as well as you did history. I think I pulled it out probably once a month.
Okay.
Yep. And it's tricky though, because I actually love the story. I love Story of the World. It's stories. You know, they put history into stories, which I like. In a story form, I should say. It's all real, but you know, but they put it in a narrative form kind of, so I feel like we're reading a story and it's real, and it does bring up lots of discussions. It kind of shows tendencies in cultures. So you start to, after a few years of reading this, you're like, oh my gosh, this has been happening a lot, you know, in these empires, and somebody gets super powerful and then somebody else comes in and takes over or whatever. So, I like to see I love that my kids can see that big picture about what's happening, what has happened over time, you know, in these cultures or whatever. So I really like that. And then the activity books, I mean, they can be super overwhelming. So we normally don't do much with the activity part of it, although I think they're good activities, and I actually think my kids really love them. So I am considering setting some more time aside for that. Okay. For, you know, reading Story of the World and then doing the activities, because it's like a good thing. My kids love it. Yeah. So why not? And learning is going to happen in the place where your kids like to do things. So if my kids like to do this, then I should really consider doing it more. Right. The only thing is, now I have kids who are kind of like in 3 different levels of Story of the World. So reading out loud to 3, you know, out of 3 books is tough. So I also need to consider maybe just consolidating, and we all start from the beginning again or something, and just go through it together.
Because it's not leveled. So if you're starting brand new, you can do all your kids in the same.
You can, and I suggest you do.
Yeah.
But, you know, like my oldest started in 1st grade with the first book, and then my next 2 started 2 years later. And so anyway, so that's the tricky part about that.
Right.
Yeah. But I do have the audiobooks.
Yeah.
So I should probably make use of those.
Right. Okay. And then she's wondering about Logic of English and Brave Writer. And I think that's a really great question.
Yeah.
I'm going to be honest and say it's really tough for me to do both. Would you agree with that?
Yeah. Yes.
I feel like Logic of English is parent intensive. And I can't do that many parent intensive things per day. I can do like 1 parent intensive thing.
I like that descriptive word, parent intensive. I'm going to use that more, because I can't do that either much.
Yeah. I mean, even 1 a day is hard. I don't like doing it.
I agree.
So
totally.
So I'm just gonna be honest about what we did last year. We did Brave Writer and Logic of English, but we didn't do both in the full capacity.
Yep.
We didn't do either of them in the full capacity.
Right.
And I can tend to feel like, well, I failed both those, but I didn't, because I think whatever you do is good.
Right.
Like we did, you know. And with Brave Writer, I don't do the book clubs.
Yeah.
So I don't even do that whole thing.
Right.
That whole part of it. The arrow and the boomerang. I don't do those. I do the copy work and free writing and some projects.
Yeah.
And so those happen sporadically.
Yeah.
You know,
that's good.
I would say we do 1 thing from Brave Writer once or twice a week. And then Logic of English, I didn't really do with my youngest still. He was 8 to 9 last year. I tried, and I still think he was too young.
Yeah.
I do. And so I was doing it with my older 2 daughters, who were, they're 13 and 11 now. And we did that together. I'm just going to say it averaged once every 2 weeks. Yeah. Probably. And I'm happy with that. Like, I think that was pretty good.
I applaud you for that.
But I think next year, I think I'm not going to do Logic of English fully with them. I think I'm going to scale it back. Okay. Scale it way back.
Okay.
I don't know how yet.
Why? Is there a reason why?
It's time intensive.
Yeah, it's just too much. Yep.
And they aren't loving it like they used to.
Yeah.
So that's part of it. And I don't think they need it because they already know how to read, obviously. So this is them learning more like spelling and like how like parts of words.
Right.
You know, like and what those parts mean and why they go together, and then like grammar. And I think that stuff is important. But I don't think I think I can modify it to make it less intensive.
Right. Yep. So good.
So yeah, how about you?
Well, so for Brave Writer, what I really like is just the whole ideology kind of Brave Writer.
The lifestyle.
The lifestyle. Brave Writer lifestyle. Yeah. That's what it is. And so I really just hooked on to the Writer's Jungle, read through that, and that is just everyday things. It's like how you talk with your kids and I don't know, how you look at home education, really. And so I feel like that wasn't adding a ton of stuff to my plate. It was
kind of validating what you're already doing.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like Brave Writer is more freeing. And then, you know, like she says in Writer's Jungle, Julie, who we had on our show, if you haven't listened to that episode, go listen to it now. She is amazing. Julie Bogart. So what she says in the Writer's Jungle is, you know, this is what you need. I mean, this is what I want to tell you. You know, that this whole book. Now, a lot of people ask for activities. So you don't need any of these other books. But if you want some more activities to do, if you want specific activities to do, here you go. And so you can do the book clubs, and you could do lots of other writing projects that she has created and, you know, curated kind of for you. But those are not required.
Right. You can do your own things, like writing a Christmas list and writing a birthday invitation.
Like planning a party. Yep. Right. Those are the kind of things. So I love those things. So that's really what I kind of latched onto, is just the Brave Writer lifestyle. So, and then for Logic of English, my oldest and she's 11. I think for the past 2 years, we've been doing a very, very scaled back portion of Logic of English. And it's really like the first activity in each lesson, which is you go through the words together and you do it in a certain way so that, you know, like we say the word, we write the word, we talk about the spelling and the rules and all that kind of stuff. And we do that not very often. That was probably once a month thing too.
Yep.
And that's like about all we did. So it's, you know, it's like one day out of like a week's lesson that we would do.
Right.
So, and that worked for us. And then we'll probably continue doing that. And I might start doing that with my now 9-year-olds. We're going to be in fourth grade technically. So, I think that's what we're going to do this year for those 3 older kids. And then for my youngest, my 7-year-old, we had the younger kid version of Logic of English. Can't remember what it's called now. But Foundations. Yes. Yep. So we tried it, did not work. It was, for me, it's like lots of different moving parts that I just can't keep track of. There's so many pieces and stuff, and it was just a little bit much for me. And then, which made it kind of tough for her. So we're not going to do that. We are doing Explode the Code, which is a very, you know, basic practicing letters, sounds, and spelling. And lots of reading. And writing. Great. And writing. Great. For fun. A lot of writing for fun. So,
Good.
Yeah. So that's like the real version of like all this. When we talk about all the language arts that we do, like that's really what we do.
Right.
It's not much.
Right.
It's not as much as it sounds, probably.
Yes. I think we should move on to loving this week.
Yes. Angela.
All right.
What are you loving this week?
Okay. I am loving an author. Her name is Joshilyn Jackson.
Okay.
You readers probably already have heard of her, but she writes fiction. And I just discovered her because I read the book, The Almost Sisters, which I think is fairly new, maybe a year old. Really good.
Great.
And now I've been reading all of her other books.
Awesome.
And what I like about her is that she is Okay, they are easy reads, but still very well written.
Awesome.
Like,
That's what I love.
I feel like, sometimes like literature is like too hard for me in the way that I really have to think when I'm reading it.
Sure.
Because it's so well written. And then there's like beach reads that are sometimes like
fluff,
so bad that I can't read them.
Yeah.
This is like a great balance.
Nice.
Of both. Like, it's easy, great plot, great story.
Are all her
great
books like
writing.
That?
Well, I'm on my third one. I read The Almost Sisters. That was great. Gods in Alabama. That was great. And now I'm reading A Grown Up Kind of Pretty.
Okay. Are they like all in the same kind of setting or?
Well, she's a Southern writer,
Okay.
so they're all like set in the South. Usually like modern day.
Okay.
And then they all have like a little mystery component. And it's not like
that. I like a little mystery.
It's not like a mystery, like, I don't know. These aren't mysteries.
Okay.
But it's enough to keep me like, oh, I got to figure out what happens here.
Yeah.
There's no way this could resolve.
Oh,
well.
Yeah.
I got to keep
reading.
Definitely.
So
I love that. So I'm going to make my way through all of her books.
Okay. That's awesome. Great.
Yep.
Thanks.
So how about you? What are you loving this week?
I'm also loving a book that you gave me because you told me I had to read it. It's called American Street by, I'm not going to say this right, but Zoboi. That sound right?
Sure.
So good. It's about an immigrant girl from Haiti.
Yep.
And how she goes to live with her family in Detroit, some family, like cousins, in Detroit, and just her new life in America. And it is, again, super eye-opening and so well written.
Yep.
It's so well written. I did not like it at first because it jumps right in. I told you this, and you agreed with me, I think. It jumps right into the story where I don't necessarily like any of the characters that I start reading about right away. And I want to
right away. They're kind of abrasive.
They're abrasive right away, and I haven't like hooked onto a character that I like yet.
Yeah.
So it was a little hard. I put it down at first. I put it down for a while, and then came back to it. And I'm so glad I did, because I actually started to like them all.
Yeah,
all the characters eventually.
I know,
but yeah,
it's great. I think because it's an immigrant story, but then she comes to live with her Black American. I mean, they're like, American.
Well, yeah. I mean, yes, their mom is from Haiti, but they grew up in America. Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of a clash of these two cultures.
Yeah.
But yet they're cousins.
Yeah. And
they're living together. So it's interesting.
And they, like the cousins have heard a lot about Haiti, and the main character has heard a lot about America. And it's just so interesting.
Right.
How it all comes together. So, yep. I just really I've decided I want to find some more immigrant novels.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you remember, I think you read The Late Homecomer?
Oh, yeah.
So good.
I need to read that again.
Yes.
That was about a Hmong immigrant.
Yes.
Or a Hmong story.
It was a
Hmong immigrant story.
Yep. Which also reminds me of another Hmong story of an immigrant family living in Minnesota, and it's called Little Cricket. Do you remember reading that?
Yeah. No, that's a YA book.
It is. Yeah. So I was thinking, I gotta get that. I could read that to my kids. They would love that story now.
Yep.
So I want more of that.
I feel like I need to look through all my past books that I've read and maybe give us some ideas, because I can't think right off the spot. But
well, you know how we always talk about how it's so great that our kids are reading, Harry Potter for like the 8th time. They're learning so much. They're getting so much more out of it and going deeper and learning about characters and all the stuff. And we don't ever do that.
Yeah, I could read it twice. I could read a book twice.
You could? I should.
Yeah, I should. You know what I just read twice? I don't know if I told you this.
What?
Eleanor and Park.
Oh, yes.
Not an immigrant story.
No.
It's about teen love, but it is so good. And the second time I read it, it was so good. It was as good as I remember. I could not wait to keep reading it.
That's a book I'd probably read again too, as like a palate cleanser too. Like, this is so nice. Like, just go back to
like
something
comfort food.
Yes, exactly.
I know you're kind of laughing, but when you read it again, if you read it again, you are going to be like, oh, yeah. Now I remember. It is a great story.
I'm laughing because the first time you told me to read that, I was like, I am not into a teen love story. No thanks. And then you kind of pushed it, and I was like, okay, I will do this for you. And I just loved that book so much. I mean, from the beginning. The beginning. I remember the first scene.
Me too.
That book wasn't made into a movie, was it?
No, of course I had to Google that again.
I know.
It wasn't.
I feel like there's been talk of it
yeah, come on.
Plans. But all these books now I want American Street. I was picturing it as a movie the whole time.
It'd be a perfect movie.
I know. It would.
Yeah.
It'd be so good.
All right. Well, this was a long one, but thanks. If you're still listening, thank you for sticking with us. This whole time I was like, this is getting long. I hope this doesn't turn people off, but it's all so good. We can't stop talking sometimes. Okay. So you can find us on social media at Homeschool Unrefined on Facebook and Instagram. We do have a Facebook group we'd love to have you join called Unrefined Homeschoolers. And we have a website, homeschoolunrefined.com, where you can find links to everything that we talked about. Mm-hmm. So we will see you next week.
Thanks for listening. Homeschool Unrefined was created by Maren Gorse and Angela Sizer. Thanks to Gambler's Daughter for providing the music for our show. You can find Gambler's Daughter at facebook.com/gamblersdaugghtermusic.